So this event took place in an area of the CO.AG National Forest in Louisiana back in the spring of 2010. Myself and 4 other friends, all male, 19 to 21 years of age, decided to go camping a few weeks before the semester ended. We looked online and discovered Louisiana's National Forest, CO.AG, was a great place to go camping. Score. We ended up driving for about half an hour to find a spot. Ultimately, we parked on the side of the road and walked out into the woods for about half a mile. Maybe even shorter than that, actually. A fire was lit, and soon all of us were playing music, smoking, and having a good bit of whiskey. No one was completely wasted, but 2 of my friends did take it easy with the smoking and the whiskey, and were sober enough, or close enough to it, when we all headed in for the night. We woke up within 2 minutes of each other the next morning, and it's hard to get around in a tent without waking everybody up. But that's when I noticed the 2 guys who didn't smoke or drink much were looking really worried. I asked what was up, and they told us something happened last night. My 2 friends heard some noises outside the tent and woke up to investigate. As they pulled the zipper down on the front flap, they saw 2 guys with flashlights close to the tent. One of them out there asked, "How many of you guys are in that tent?" My friend told him, "There's 6 or 7 guys in the tent." While telling the story, he said he wasn't sure where that lie came from, but he just stuck with it. The 2 men lowered their lights, said they were park rangers, and simply stated that we couldn't camp in the area, but to just move our site when the morning comes. And then they left. To prevent us from getting into any more trouble, and future rangers searching for us and finding pot, we decided to pack up and go to the ranger station to ask which areas we could camp in. The station actually wasn't too far from where we were, so we talked to the rangers for a little while. We explained what happened the night before and told them that we didn't mean to cause any trouble for them. One of them looked a little confused. The ranger said, "Could you show me on the map where you boys were camping last night?" We easily pointed out the spot, close to the road that we came in from, where we parked, and roughly where we were camped. She walked over to her computer for a second to check in on something, and then came back to us. "You boys are free to camp there. We don't even have any zones close to that road where you couldn't camp at. Also, I just checked our call-ins. No rangers reported anything from that area of the woods last night." Then, my friend who originally told us about what happened started to look a little pale. He said, "Now that I think about it, those 2 guys weren't wearing uniforms. They were just wearing black shirts and pants." Safe to say, we left for home shortly after. My husband and I just moved into a nice little town home. We've only been here a few months, and at first everything was fine. It's never had a weird or creepy feeling, but lately things have been happening that I can't really make sense of. We have 2 cats, one of which recently started to meow incessantly at the guest bedroom door. She seemed to settle in fine, and so we thought she might just want to explore in there. But she doesn't seem to care whether the door is open or closed. She still just meows at the threshold of the bedroom. We took her to the vet to make sure she wasn't sick or in pain or anything, but she got a clean bill of health with no problems at all. Yesterday, we were all sitting in bed, me and the cats, waiting for my husband to come home from work when I heard a knock at the window. I thought maybe my husband was locked out and went to open the back door for him, but no one was outside. I didn't think much of it, and just went back to reading my book in bed. Just a little side note, like, you hear a knock at your window, and you don't think much of it after looking outside and no one's there? Okay. An hour later, I hear the same knock on the bedroom door, and again I think it's my husband. I call for him to come in, and when no one responds, I get up to check. I got all worked up and checked everywhere in the apartment, but it was just me and my cats. All the doors were locked. I checked the windows, and they were locked too. So, I did the only reasonable thing I could, and I barricaded myself in the bathroom until my husband got home. Nothing else happened that night. This morning, we were woken up by the sound of talking, which just turned out to be my computer narrator. When I realized what it was, I just got up to turn it off. It's turned itself on before. Nice. When my computer updates while in sleep mode. But the weird thing is, my husband asked, "What was that talking?" And the laptop said, "Narrator," and started going off reading some more. It scared me because it sounded like it responded to his question. We go back to bed, but are woken up a second time by the Bluetooth alarm clock making bell sounds of some sort. It didn't really sound like music, and I know for a fact the Bluetooth wasn't on. I keep it off so my phone isn't connecting accidentally or draining the battery. I was pretty shaken up and turned it off, but for the rest of the day, things have just felt strange. My poor cat is starting to hide all the time, and she stopped sleeping with me. What in the world's happening, and how do I make it better? We've only been here a few months, and I really don't want to move already. An update. Our neighbors went out for the weekend and asked us to go in at night and turn on the front light. While they were gone, I was almost positive I heard them talking through the guest bedroom walls. I called them to see if they'd come home early, but they weren't there, and I definitely locked the door after I left. I keep the electronics off now to keep myself from being scared. We started getting calls from an unknown number, and if we try to answer them, the phone crashes. We were hoping maybe it was all just mice. We have regular pest control, and when we saw them, we asked about rodents, and they said they didn't see any signs of them, just spiders. And worst of all, we haven't had any luck with the cat. She hides in the closet all day and barely eats. I don't think whatever this is malicious, and we're kind of getting used to it now. We're learning to cope, and I just wish my kitty would settle down. Sad face. If things continue, I'll ask it, if there even isn't it, to leave. Everything is pretty much confined to the guest bedroom, so for now we ignore things and leave the door closed. Maybe if we leave it alone, it'll leave us alone. A nice little Louisiana small townhome haunting. Or maybe mice like she thought, but I don't think the mice are making phone calls. Anyways, I have one more for you. This one's a little more grounded in reality. It takes place in another small town in Louisiana where everything's supposed to be safe and not haunted. It's called Walking Home. When I was about 24 or so, I worked at a hotel half a mile from my house. My husband and I were dirt poor at the time, so I walked to and from work. I lived in a small town in Louisiana, so things were seemingly safe. Anyways, I had just ended my shift at 3 p.m. and started my journey home. I had a backpack with a laptop in it, slung over my shoulder, and I get about halfway home when this man comes walking up one of the side roads. He looks to be about 35 or so, tall, medium build. I keep walking, but I notice that he's staring at me. He begins to yell, "Hey girl, hey," and continues to walk towards me. At this point, I'm on high alert and quicken my pace. He's coming in from one of the side roads in front of me, so at this point, he's standing between me and my house. He walks towards me and tells me again, "Hey, hey." I nod at him, and then he asks, "Where are you going in such a hurry, girl?" I tell him that I'm going home to my husband, which is right around the corner. I don't give him the actual location. He reaches out towards me and says, "Why don't you come over to my house and we can talk? Take a break from all that walking." I tell him no, and attempt to walk by him. He reaches out again and grabs my arm. He says, "I told you to come back to my house and we can talk." I'm almost in tears at this point, yelling at him no and don't touch me. Cars are passing by and people looking, but not stopping to help. I jerk away from him and slam him in the face with my laptop bag. That stunned him long enough for me to run away. Along the way, he was yelling at me saying that I was an ungrateful bitch and that he told me that he just wanted to talk. Right. I got home and broke down and just started crying. I have to pass by that guy's house every day, and now that I know he lives there, I always get this really intense fear every time I see it. Thankfully, he's never approached me ever again. Hey guys, scary stories here. What did you think of those? I hope you enjoyed them. I thought it'd be fun to throw in a little, slightly more lighthearted one in the middle there. I mean, if she's hearing voices and her cat's not eating, then I guess it's not really that lighthearted, but it happened a while ago, and I'm sure she's figured it out by now, right? But yeah, anyways, like I said in my Alaska video, probably a week ago now, or 2 weeks. I'm trying to think of when this one's going to be posted, which is, yeah. I'd like to keep doing videos like this on spooky stories from different states. It'd be fun to have our own version of that. Anyways, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're taking care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.